Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Odyssey. It's Jason here, back at you with another video on XRP. Exciting times. As we can see on the charts, we have some nice movements occurring for XRP. We currently have about a 5% move from these lows. Yeah, about 5.5. This is increasing as we speak. And essentially, we've been waiting for a direction to be chosen for XRP. The last video that I made about a week ago now, where I was talking about the calm before the storm, and it was just a waiting game. Patience is probably the most important virtue in this space. And right now, it seems that the market has woken up a little bit. Okay, we're seeing a 5%, 6% move or so. And if we're looking on this chart right now, I've got the 20 and the 55 EMA. And we are seeing a golden cross on the 2-hour time frame. Now, this is a shorter time frame. However, what is likely to happen is this will extend if we continue. If we see this rally continue, this will extend onto the higher time frames, and that's the 4-hourly, the daily, and so on. So this is a sizable move. And if we just jump back onto the 4-hourly there, you can see where resistance is. It's pretty clear that we're running our heads into resistance right here. And this is looking like potentially, if we can break up above it, this would be a W bottom pattern. And if we measure the target, which would be from the lows to our breakout point, which is the neckline, and we measure that distance from the neckline to the highs, and that's putting us at about $2.50. Is that price significant? We will find out, because we're going to check our Fibonacci levels. Now, let's just get rid of these and let's draw a retracement that we've been tracking and see where we are bumping our head to now. Let me get rid of that. Okay. Do we have any interesting price targets? So the 2.3 level, which is the 0.5, would be where we're probably going to be testing next, as it is the next Fibonacci level. I suspect that will be where we go next, as we're just going to be playing the levels. We did find a nice bounce off this level, and we saw that previously where we reached the 618, but again, we needed to retrace there in order to continue the trend to the upside. But this is good to see, because this low then is confirming the notion that this is just another higher low. Obviously, it's slightly lower than this one here, but that is essentially reaffirming the idea that is support as well, because you don't have to exactly touch the same spot. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. It can be the case that price dips a little bit lower, but you can see that this area as a whole has proven significant support, and that's going back to 6 months ago or so, a little bit longer now, to November time, where we came back down in December. And where do we find support? Around this region. I mean, there is a lot of activity here, and the fact that we have now just confirmed that as support with this huge bullish engulfing candle, if we can close it like such, this is very bullish. This is looking great. This is another higher low, and it's confirming the idea that we have in mind, that the low which we formed back in the 7th of April is our reversal point, where we're now in this upside channel, essentially seeking higher prices. And I can show that here. So if we just make our points very clear here, where we have the upper trend line and then we found support here. If you look at the middle section, that has also been a place of support, because we bounced here, as well as when we broke down from that section, we came back to the bottom. So it looks like we are forming this upside channel. So potentially we could be running our heads into that 2.47, 2.5 level. It's quite possible, and that lines up with the breakout of this W bottom pattern, which it's not a perfect double. Well, actually, it is pretty nice. It doesn't have to be a higher low or reach the exact point as the previous. It can dip below that. Yeah, that's something that within technical analysis, it is acceptable to have a lower low if it's ever so slightly lower. The markets aren't exactly perfect. This is a reflection of human behavior at the end of the day, and human behavior is not perfect, although it is within human behavior that we can identify patterns, in the same sense that it is within the charts that we can identify patterns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up the RSI, the stochastic RSI, and we're going to jump onto the monthly time frame, because there is something very interesting to point out here, which is crazy in terms of the power that it can bring to the market. And if we look here, we have got a stochastic RSI cross. And that's when the blue line is crossing above the orange line. And the last time that we saw that, and what's nice about this is that this is actually occurring on the 50 level, which is where we saw that last time. And if I tell you what happened last time, it's definitely going to get us a little bit excited. Let me just get up a little circle here. So right here, we had a stochastic RSI cross, and look what followed after that. Yeah, that's where we had our major breakout from this extended symmetrical triangle over a 7-year time frame. Are we going to see another major move of a 5-6x? Who knows? Possibly. We are expecting higher prices, significantly higher prices, $10, $11, $12, $13, and so on. So is that going to be this particular move? This is a monthly time frame, and whenever we have these stochastic RSI crosses on the monthly time frame, they have proven to be highly fruitful. If we look back here, the same thing. Yeah, this happened on this low here. So if we just measure that move, this was also a 50-60% move. And obviously what came after that, a few months thereafter, was this major move to the upside, and it was confirmed by the stochastic RSI there. Again, we can track the previous one. If we look here, and look at where these are occurring. Okay, so this is occurring around the 55 level. It's not the same as when it occurs down at these lows or after retracements. What we're seeing in XRP is a 5-wave move. Now, you can draw this in multiple ways. However, there's two theories that potentially have the most probability, and one of them is this. And you can see that reflecting in the stochastic RSI as well, is that when we had this stochastic RSI cross to the upside, that was our first wave, which took us to this point here. So you can see that playing out, and you can see the power of the stochastic RSI cross. If you look at the second move, lined up very nicely with, or rather the third move, the third wave, which is the most impulsive wave, happened back here. And that's where it took us up to $3.4 roughly. So is this move here going to be our fifth wave, which I believe that we have already started, given the fact that we bottomed in April 7th, which is also lining up very nicely on that 50 level. So the confluence is there for this fifth wave to potentially be supported by this stochastic RSI cross to the upside. It's increasing the likelihood. I'm not going to say it's likely because nobody knows. It's a game of probabilities at the end of the day. However, when we have more variables, more factors pointing to a particular outcome, then it increases the likelihood that could be the case. So that's something to watch out. I think that what we're seeing in the markets right now is positive, especially in the short term. Coming out from this low, this is something that we've been waiting for some time now. And obviously we have short-term price targets to look out for, around $2.50. And once we really break out of the $2.50 region, that's when we can start thinking about breaking out from $2.8, because really all of this is noise until we break out. Let me just get onto the daily. All of this is all noise until we break out from this target here. And that is around 2.6 and the 2.8 figure as well. Once we get above 2.6, then the likelihood that we're going to continue higher increases. Then we have levels like 2.8 and really want to break $3 in enterprise discovery. But again, we're working the levels. What we're seeing right now is the potential for this move to the upside. Now, we're coming into summer now, which is technically not the most bullish period in terms of investments and in terms of what institutions are doing. They're on their summer holidays. So it's the case that we don't tend to see that much price action until we get to September, October, August time, roughly. But because of this consolidation that we're seeing for XRP over the past 6 or 7 months or so, it is really any time. So the old adage, sell in May and go away, I don't think is going to be applying here, because we have been talking about June, July, August, September being bullish months for crypto. And this candle that we're printing right now is looking, quite promising that we're going to see continuation. If we look at the RSI as well, the same story. We are pointing now to the upside, potentially having this second rise. We will have to see what the market does and whether it's ready for that or not. But if we jump onto shorter time frames, even the weekly, it's looking beautiful. We're about to cross up now above this yellow moving average. If we do that and we continue that momentum to the upside, this is just going to be another hyper move. The last one was back here, and you can see them just very clearly. Every few months or so, we have these major moves. So do I think that we are due for one? I think so. And the indicators are pointing us in that direction. So if you did enjoy the video today, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. I'm going to be pumping out some more content. Obviously, I haven't been as active this week, given the fact that not much has changed in terms of our thesis until today, really. It's just been the calm before the storm. Sideways action doesn't make for the most exciting content, guys. So hopefully that will change, and hopefully this month, July, August, will be much more exciting for crypto holders. Remember, none of this is financial advice. Do your own research, educate yourselves. These are your own investments. I'm just the guy in his room chatting about crypto. So subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.